Last time I was here was 4 years ago now. It's too long time, and I'm very happy to be here today. And I hope you will be courageous to listen to everything I will have to say to you today. It will be maybe a bit tough, but most of you know you have very good basis and know many things about what I will talk. Okay. Okay.
Kaç adayı?
Is that my past club, UNCL, that you find the logo in, does not exist anymore. 6 months ago, we merged with this club, which is Irc Club de France, which is one of the more interesting and powerful clubs in France. And now, UNCL is no more UNCL, but for Irc Club de France, which is kind of race commission of this yacht club. For the day-to-day IRC, this does not change. This changes nothing, in fact, because we are exactly the same team, and we keep the same relationships with Thai office, and of course as well with all the measures here. Okay. IRC logo has been changed as well. This is a new logo, implemented 5 days ago. Let's go. What we are talking today, after a fast introduction about the needs of an IRC measurer and the IRC principles, we will see first the hull measurement, draft, overruns, boat weighting, etc. And the second part will be dedicated to rig and sails measurement. As a measurer, what do you need? First, you need free access and to the rules, of course. Here you have different websites where you are able to find relevant documentation, which are the IRC rule, of course, but as well the racing rule of sailing, the equipment rule of sailing, this is very important, and on a certain extent, the offshore special regulations that you may need to have a look for, especially for offshore racing. All the documentation here I gave to Jan, and they will be able to send you all those documents, including this presentation I will make today. Okay. Of course, during my talk, do not hesitate. As soon as you have a question, as soon as you need something to be more detailed, you hang like this, and we will stop and try to give more explanation. So first thing you need are the rules, and as far as possible the knowledge of those rules. Of course, after that you need some tools for measurements. You will need a metal tape measurer. You will need spirit levels, plumb line, floating wooden tape rulers, things like that, and small things like adhesive or, of course, notebook, pencil, permanent marker for when you have to write the measurement on the sails. For the tapes, it's very important to use metal tape measure. Okay? And, there are different types of tapes, of course. You will need various names. What is important is to check in the tape measure if you have here a 2 in Roman figures. It is Mark 2. Mark 2 is the degree of accuracy of the material, okay? And you need a Mark 2 or a Mark 1, but not less. Yes, where you are not sure about something, if you are in doubt, do not hesitate to ask to your chief measurer or to ask type, and you will have an answer. If not, a type will come back to me and I will try to give an answer as soon as possible. Okay? It's not a problem to hesitate and to have looked. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to ask yourself the good question before measuring or before taking a decision. And day after day, with more experience, you will have less and less questions. So here you have my 2 email address. You can reach me directly on this address, but please, if you want to write me directly, copy your message to type. Okay? For everybody to be informed that we are in relation and for the answers are able to be given to everybody. This is the first very important principle in measurement in general, not only under IRC. For all the systems, it's the same thing. You have no tolerances when you measure both. Okay? What you read in your measure, in your tape, is what you will note in the measurement form. Not plus 1 or 2% or 0.5% or more or less nothing. Exactly what you read in the tape or in the log cell when you are reading both. We say as well that the measurement shall be accepted at the time this measurement being taken, at time t. Okay? If you weigh the boat, you can weigh it in the morning at 10 o'clock and weigh it again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And probably you will not find exactly the same result. It doesn't matter when the operation is launched, when you have good weather condition, for an acceptable result, you will use what you read on your instruments. The IRC use the MKSA system, which is metric, kilograms, seconds, and ampere. Okay? And for all the measurements of the sails or of the rig dimensions, for instance, we use 2 figures after comma. Okay, and the last figure is if the last figure is from 0 to 4, this is rounded to 0. Okay, if it is from 5 to 9, it is rounded to the au-dessus, thank you. When you are measuring a boat, it's also very important that you report the date, the place, the measurer's and owner's name and signature. And Probably you have now a special code as a measurer, an ID code, and it's good as well to show and to inform the ID code. Okay? Let's go for the hull measurement. The main measurement you will have to proceed for hull are sometimes draft, the overhangs of course, and boat weight. Okay, these are the three most important things. You may be asked to measure the beam, but you shall be informed that for all the semi boats we use designer data for the beam, and as the beam is very may be very complicated to measure, under IRC we also accept a declaration of the designer for the beam, even in the case of a one-off. We will have a part of the measurement that you will of the hull that will be realized when the boat is ashore. Okay. In such a case, for an accurate measurement, we will take care about the level of the boat, and we will try the boat to be level in an horizontal plane. It may be a time-consuming operation to put the boat on a good condition, but with levels, it is very possible to do so. So, as I said to you, some of the measurements are not necessary for a production boat. Bmax, sometimes draft, and length of oar as well. And for the semi boat, we will use semi data at the centre de calcul. And as I said to you, for many well-off, centre de calcul will tell you what he is expecting really, as far as length of oar, beam, draft, or other measurements are concerned. It's kind of case by case. If you have to measure the length of a hull when the boat is level, okay, you will consider the definition of the length of the hull under IRC, LH, which is the length of the hull of the hull, excluding bowsprit and other rig interference, steam stern fittings, pulpits, any overhanging rudder or rudder hangings. Okay, so when the boat is on an horizontal plane, you will measure the hull length in two steps. You will choose a reference point over there on the key. Okay, we will mark it with pencil. Here you will first for this first measurement. Here we will put the plumb line. Okay. So 0 of the tape here, and balancing the tape over there, you will note the shorter distance. Once this is done, we repeat on the other side. Okay, looking for the shorter distance with your tape. You will add A and B, and you will have the length of it. If you have to measure the draft, this will be made in two steps as well. First, we will be measure the draft ashore on starboard and port. Okay. Looking at the keel, we will look for the deepest point of the keel. Okay. And with the vertical distance from this point to this one. Okay? So laterally you will have a vertical here, and to record this point on the vertical line, we will use a long button, okay, with the leg on it, and looking for the horizontal position of the button. We will read the vertical distance from here to here with the tape. Okay. So we make this at the starboard and port, and after that we will make the second step at sea. When the boat is at sea, okay, you will have your points in the hull, okay, starboard and port, and we will measure the vertical distance from here to here, both sides, okay, and after that we will remove this distance from the shore measurement, okay, both sides as well, divided by 2, and we will add the draft of the boat, okay? For this measurement, like for all measurement at sea, of course we have requirements. Flat water plane, no wind, right away. The flat water plane is very, very, very important because for the draft measurement, like for overhang measurements, if we need accurate result, we need perfect condition of measurement. So now let's go for the overhangs. The first is the bow overhang, which is the longitudinal distance between the foremost point of the hull, on the hull, and the foremost point of the waterline. Okay. So the foremost point of the hull is there. Here you will have your plumb line, and with a floating wooden ruler, for instance, or button, you may record this distance and measure it. Okay. The bow overhang. There are mainly two types of hulls, I would say. You see here this part, which is the knuckle of the boat. It may be under the water line. So in that case, view is very easy to measure. And you may also have the knuckle up above the water line. But this does not change nothing for the principle of measurement of the bow overhang. Okay. And edge measurement are probably the not complicated, but the hull measurement that you will require the most attention from you. Okay. This is in the case when this part of the neck of the boat is up, is above the waterline. Okay. This point is the point at the tangent of 45 degrees. Okay? And we need to measure the vertical distance of this point, the 8 of this point, between the waterline and the lowest point, okay? Which is H. And we also need this one, the horizontal distance between the waterline and the lowest point of the strike, at the measurement 40. Okay? For this measurement, you will need a sphere. Okay? A level with 45 incline level. And we will find the point, inspect it in the position like this. Okay. And when you are well here, you put a small point in the hull. You repeat several times to be sure about the position of the point. Okay? Take your time when you are doing this because it may be a little bit tricky. So if you have very good weather condition, you will have no difficulties to find this point. And after that, this is the 8 here you measure directly with the tape. And this distance, here you have your point. So what I do, because it may be sometimes difficult to measure this distance directly, what I do is that I put my zero here, okay. I look for the shortest distance along the plumb line, which is here, and I remove this distance from my BO measurement, and I find the x. Okay? Of course, you have different shapes of hull. Here we have the natural inverse, which is the most simple situation because we have just BO to measure. And after that, depending on the hull shape, the bow knuckle is at some different points. You may have modern inverse bow like this. It's more and more common now. So here we are behind of the beginning of the hull, the extreme point of the hull. Okay. So for here we will start the measurement here, and the 45 point is maybe somewhere that is over there, and we have the H measurement here, and it's over there. Just to illustrate what I said. At stern, we will have two measurements. The stern overhang and the vertical distance, which is called Y. The vertical distance between the aftmost point of the hull and the water plane. Okay. This is probably the easiest overhang measurement to measure. Why? Okay. You will have your plumb line in the axis of the boat, and you will just have to measure the vertical distance here from the point to the water line. And depending on the hull shape again, SO may be a little bit difficult because if you have a shape very warm, sorry, very warm, very deep. Yes, exactly. You will have to have a careful look to find exactly this point where the hull meets the water line. And what I do is I do not use a wooden tape. I just use a wooden baton, and I put the wooden baton on the water plane like this, and looking for that point, and I make a point on my wooden baton. And after that, I measure in my baton from the beginning to the point. And when I have a stern overhang to measure, I repeat the operation 2 or 3 times to be sure about the point I have noted in my wooden tape. Okay? diagrams that you will find in the IRC board, which show you different cases. With this one a little bit special because in the case of a counter steer hull like this, here we have the curve line. Okay, we measure the stern overall, and for the Y, here you will need to extend the form of the gun like this, okay? And Y is not this distance, but only this one. When you have the waterline like this, okay, with the rudder at this part, so a bit above the waterline, the reference point is there. In case of a skeg like this, you have some boat with small skeg, and the rudder attached to this skeg. The important thing is the hull shape, okay, and the intersection of the waterline and the hull shape. So you don't take this part into account, and you don't take the rudder into account in your measurement as well. Here again, this is an illustration of the IRC notebook, okay, showing you different types of appendages, the different shape of keels, flat keels with different forms, IOR style keels, more modern flat keels, deeper or not. Here, of course, you have the traditional models. And after that, the keels with we call shoe keel because you have this form it's larger at the bottom. Okay. Those are the different shoe keel type we have. And after that, the bulk keels. When the bulk is really separated from the fin, okay? For the keel from type 10 to 12, we ask the bulk weight. We ask the IRC weight and we ask the bulk weight. And this bulk weight may be given by a statement of the designer. In the IRC rule 2020, IRC introduced the keel aspect ratio in the IRC calculation for keel type 4 to 6, okay? Which means fin keel with no shoe, no bow, okay? You will not have those measurements today. Here we have the upper core, lower core, and the span of the keel. You won't have those measurements today directly, but when you are waiting a boat, it is important for you to take a picture in this axis, okay, and to send it to the centre de calcul. In fact, we will not need the centre de calcul will not need the exact measurement of that, and that. We just need the proportion. That's why a picture is enough for us. Okay. Right. So this kind of picture is just perfect for us. Okay. It's on the axis of the boat. Okay, longitudinal axis. With this picture, we are able to find the proportion of the keel, and that's fine for us. Okay. But please take a picture like this. Now boat weighting. Boat weighting, if you do it with care as far as the rule is concerned, is not a complicated operation. The weighting certificate and the weight procedures will be done by IRC appointed measure and only those measures as you are all. Okay? You will have to use calibrated log cell or calibrated press pads like you are using in your country, but you will never use data provided by a travel lift directly or by a crane with log cell. You will use only calibrated and certified measurement tools. Okay? Together with the weight, you will have to measure the overruns. This is the overruns and weight are done the same day. Okay. We will see in detail the rule 17, which explains how to prepare a boat before weighting. Okay. And again, something which is very important when you are weighting a boat is that the weather is dry, no rain, and you have no wind. 5-10 knots, or 10 knots is a bit too much. From 0 to 5, that's really fine. Okay. After that, I have an example of IRC weight certificate. You are all the picture that you take when weighing a boat. This is very important. Okay, picture of the rigging, very detailed picture of the interior of the boat, the picture of the keel as well. Another one where you will see the rudder and the propeller. Thank you. Of course, this is not mandatory to put the picture just near the weight certificate. You can sign your weight certificate and the picture separately. On those pictures, you will see all the small details that you can find aboard. The batteries. Here I have a fridge. So somewhere I should find a picture, maybe it's there, I don't see very well, of the freezing room. If there is hot water, you will have picture of the water balloon. Here you see that the cushions are aboard while racing. We have the detail of the table. Somewhere I should find as well. Here is the aft cabin, and I took this picture just to illustrate that here there is no door and nothing in front. Here I have the bucket. The bucket is here the door. And all those different parts are joined to the side of the boat. Okay? And when we are inspecting a boat, we are able to consider if all the interior fittings of the boat are like it was when the boat has been weighted. I'm sorry because I forgot to translate this part, so I will change my presentation and if to use this part in English at least, because here this is in French. Okay. In my weighting report, I first here noted the weather condition, wind less than 10 knots on dry weather. Here I have the name of the boat, type of the boat, if any, the certificate number and the same number. Here is the type of load cell, which I fill this part, I complete this part, okay. After that, when we are inspecting the tank of the boat, we have the water tanks. Here are empty. There are no water ballast systems, so water ballast is not applicable, I would say. And here, the gasoline, the fuel that stay in the tanks. Okay, it's important to know the quantity because this will be removed from the gross weight at the end. Okay. After that, I have details as far as the interior is concerned. Here I have a table. Here the table. I have two wooden doors for the stern cabins. Cushions, they are all in the boat when racing. And for the details for the cooking block, you have two fire with no oven, one sink, one fridge and a freezing room. No hot water. Here, no hot water. Okay. You can't read very well, but I have the detail of the batteries. There is two batteries, and I have for each one the amperage of the battery. Okay, for instance, I don't know, 80 ampere per hour or something like that. So you will have to check with the owner the capacity of the batteries and the number of the batteries in details. On this part, you will not other various type of tools or equipment that you may find aboard. Here we have an autopilot, a bucket with a black water tank, chart table here, and different. The more detail you may give, the better this is for us. Okay. In this part for the rig, you will note here, for instance, mast and boom aluminium. Okay. The standing rigging is diaphragm. We have bowsprit and spinnaker pool. Both of them are carbon. We have two pair of spreaders with angle. Okay. They are pushing. And the English term for the cables all around the boat.
Rain.
The thank you. Metal one, okay. And the backstay here. The backstay is PDO backstay. When waiting, you will have a gross weight, okay? And after the gross weight, you may remove the tab, which is but this is in the case that you will leave the boat with a single point weighting.
and this is something you do not do here, you don't do here. So you will probably be able to read directly the boat weight in your equipment, measurement equipment. Okay. But do not forget to remove the weight of the gasol, okay, for you to have the IRC weight of the boat. More of that, you will know here BO, SO, Y, X, H, the place where the measurement is down, the date, the measurer's name, and ID number, and the owner's name as well. And when this is done, you simply will need to have this document signed both by the measurer and the owner, or his representative. Okay. Probably you have a question about the IRC weight. No? Nothing particular? What I propose to you is to have a look at the rule 17 of the IRC rule, because this is very important. Rules and rule 7. The boat code. Okay, sure. Yeah. Small break there. Before that, we could be happy with the break. Small break. Let's go.
Shall I use this?
Okay, so we will read together the rule 17, which explains how to prepare the boat before IRC weighting, and as well before all the measurements that we do at sea, overruns and draft measurement. Boat weight is measured in accordance with the following conditions for weight and protection measurement. The boat shall be dry, in compliance with the class rule reaching IRC rule. Unless otherwise specified in the rule, any of the following shall be included. Okay, so the rig, the skeletal pole, with the pole if any, main sheet, mizzen sheet, and no other sheets. 9. Inboard or outboard engine installed position. When you find some permanently installed solar panels, wind or hydro generator. The berth, the cushions if the yacht is racing with the cushion on board in their normal position, if carried while racing. Okay. All permanent fixture and fittings and items of accommodations, and unless otherwise specified in the rules, the following will be excluded. So removed before weighting: all the sails, the fuel, water, variable ballast or the contents of any other tanks, the gas bottles, portable safety equipment, which means life jacket, fire extinguisher, the safety rudder, things like that. The anchor for sure, anchor and shades and rope, and all other unfitted or lost equipment. For some boats, you may find some, we call this tool a mast jack, which is it's a tool who gives you the possibility to tune the mast or the forestay tension while racing. Okay? This is a pump, and it may be removed, depend on the case. If the mast jack is fixed on the boat, okay, you will weight the boat with the mast jack. If it is a separate pump that you can easily remove from the boat, you will not weight the boat with the mast jack. When for practical reason it's not possible to remove all items and equipment, and for instance fuel, it is acceptable to deduct the weight of those from the gross weight. That is more for the matching office. Okay. As I said, for overhang and draft, measurements shall be taken with the boat in flotation tree, which means in wading condition. Do you have some question about this in particular? Okay. So let's come back to. I forgot to tell you at the beginning of my presentation, I told you that the important documentation was the IRC rule, the equipment rule of sailing. This one that you may find on the World Sailing website also. The racing rule of sailing as well. And this one, which is the IRC measurement manual, where you will find many details about measurement operation. Okay, this is the measurement manual. It's written by Rock and my office, and here you will find approximately all I will tell to you today, and many details are given here. So this one may be very interesting for you to read. This is the IRC measurement manual. You will have it in the documentation. Last date was from November of the past year. So we're very okay for this year. Now, going to see the second part of the measurement, really, and the sails measurement. When we say rig measurement, this is here you are, not only rig, but only the sails measurement. I know, but rig measurement is the P from the black mark here to the goal. The E from the real part of the mast to the inside of the mast at the end of the groove. The J, which is the foremost part of the mast, horizontal distance from the mast to the point where the forestay meets the deck. And the forestay ends, which is from the point where the forestay meets the deck and the point where forestay meets the mast. For that you have the spinnaker pole measurement, the SPL, and the bowsprit measurement, which is the spinnaker tack length. First for P, okay, so for the mast measurement. P is never measured directly from the sail, and this is the same for E. P and E are not sails measurements, they are wake measurements. Okay? so the P is the distance between the main sail upper point. The main sail upper point is the inside part of the black mark here. And the top of the boom when set at right angle to the mast. So here you have right angle, and you measure this distance from the inside of the mark to the intersection of the boom here and the mast. So this upper limit mark shall be permanently marked with a band of contrasting colors. In many cases, you will find a band with a tape, and this is acceptable. But when you are on an event, for instance, you are able to control this P measurement to be sure that the mark did not move between the moment you measured it before a race and the moment you control it during a race. If there is no mark, okay, if there are no upper limit mark, so the measurement will go here. The measurement point is the top of the highest shield used for the header. Okay. So if you have to measure a P and the roller is with you and you don't see any mark, you should tell him to put the mark on the mast, okay? And for that, you will have to post the sail in the maximum distance that it is used while racing, and you will be able to put the mark at the right position for the sail not being able to go up on this mark. The E measurement at the end of the boom, it is from the boom, it is the same principle. E is never measured directly from the sail. So we are looking to the outer point distance of the main sail, which is the inside of the black mark at the end of the boom. And with no outer limit marks, we will measure from the mast to the extreme end of the boom. The outer limit mark shall be permanently marked by a 25 mm band of contrasting colors. Again, tape mark is acceptable. If there's no outer limit mark, the outer measurement point shall be taken to the aft end of the boom. This is the most important part of the definition. The rest is not so more details. Now we look for J. Okay, J measurement here from the foremost part of the mast to the point where the forest stay and the hull meets. Okay. J. J is the longitudinal distance between the intersection of the foresight of the mast part and extended as necessary, and the deck, including its superstructure, and the intersection of the centenary of the forest deck, extended as necessary, and the deck or postscript part. Here you have forestay length measurement. This point is as well the first reference point. And the second one is the last. When you have a chain to measure, you will put the zero of the tape here at the mast level, and here at the point that we have the intersection of Hull and Forestay, you will put your plumb line here, like this, and with your tape, you will look for the shortest distance along the plumb line. Here at in this area, when you are looking for the forest, the intersection point between mast and forestay, you may have something here like a hook with the stay just here, and you will need to
The intersection of the front side of the mast, right?
yeah, exactly. So if the forestay stops here, you will have to extend your measurement along the forestay and report your measurement exactly where the extension with the mast. Spinnacle pole, for measuring the spinnacle pole, its SPR definition is the greatest horizontal distance from the forward face of the mast spar in the ringing fitting the tracks, measured or on the center line of the boat to the extremity of the spinnacle pole. Okay, so the measurement will be the horizontal distance from the foremost mast of the mast to the extreme end of the spinnacle pole. So, including that, this is the limit of the spinnacle pole. This is not here. This is the extremity of the very extremity of the bowsprit of the spinnacle pole. So, when you are, because the spinnacle pole shall be on a horizontal position when you are measured. Before measuring, you will inspect the horizontality of the spinnacle pole with your level. Okay. And now the spinnacle tacklens. For spinnacle tacklens, we have different situations. Spinnacle tacklen is the greatest horizontal distance from the forward face of the mast spar, ignoring critical tracks, measured along the center line of the boat, to any of the following. The extremity of the bowsprit, ignoring any outer limit marks. So the same for the spinnacle pole. If we have to measure the STL with the bowsprit, we will go to the very end of the bowsprit, to the extremity of the bowsprit. Okay. This is STL when you have a bowsprit. On some circumstances, you may have a spinnaker, asymmetric spinnaker, tacked in front of the boat with no bowsprit. but you still have a spinnaker attachment. For instance, if the spinnaker is stacked somewhere there, the STL will be the horizontal distance from the mast to the tack point. Okay. And here you have different pictures of different tack points. Here you have this hidden, the measurement point is the middle, okay, the axis. In such a case, this is the axis of the equipment as well. Here you have a small part where it's fixed to spinnaker of the spinnaker. This is a limit of STL. Also cases here. And here's something I received from you a few weeks ago. If the spinnaker is tackled over there, the measurement will go from the mast to this part. And if this is tackled in the windlass here, the windlass is considered to be a bowsprit. Okay? So if the spinnaker is tackled over there, the bowsprit measurement will be from the mast to the very end of the windlass. Okay? Exactly as if it was a carbon bowsprit or something like that. As soon as the tack point of the spinnaker outpasses the limit of the hull length, okay, as soon as it is fixed somewhere here, the STL will go from the mast to the very end of the tool. And this will be considered as bowsprit. Okay. So here are as well the information that we need for the issuing of an IRC certificate, mast material of course, rig material, which may be wire, which may be rod, which may be textile, like PPO for instance. We need the number of pair of spreaders, the swept back angle of the spreaders, we need to know if there are jumpers, runners, number of stays or pair of stays. This will be noted in the application form. Okay. I think 3 years ago, IRC decided to not use anymore the terms like check stay, runners, back stays, and we use aft rigging number of stays or set of stays. Here you have the definitions that you will be able to read carefully, and we will show you from the diagram the different cases. Okay, here you have what was called the check stay. Okay, from the high part of the mast to there. This is one stay. You note one stay or one stay set. It's a group of one stay. Okay. In that case, this is one stay as well. Here you have a check stay with a deflector here. Okay. This is two stays. Here you have a check stay on the rudder, two stays. Here you have a check stay, a rudder, and a deflector. But the distance from the rudder and the deflector is less than 10% of P, so it doesn't count. And you will declare only two sets of stays. In such a case, where the distance from the rudder and the deflector is more than 10% of P, you will count the backstay as one set of stays, the rudder as two sets of stays, and the deflector three sets of stays. Okay. Here you have check stay, rudder, and backstay, three sets of stays. Here you have
stay, double chain stay probably, which means only one set, plus 2 deflectors, which means 3 sets of stay. Case, check stay, deflector, back stay, 3 sets of stay. Is that okay? Yes? Okay. Same guideline with colors and in French. Sorry. So let's go now for the sales measurement. Before measuring a sale, whatever type of sale, first we be sure that the sale is dry. Okay. The sale shall be flattened on a clean floor, an appropriate area for measurement. For instance, here it will be, I think, very nice and very good. If any, the buttons shall be removed. The tension is removed as well from the leech lines and other sail tensioner at the foot of the sail, for instance. And when you measure a sail, we still have the problem of the tension that you will put on the tissue, okay? And the rule is that the tension that you will apply shall be just enough to remove the wrinkles along the line, the horizontal line of the measurement that you have to take. You will pull the sail just to remove the wrinkles and add a horizontal line. Not more, it's not necessary. The sail's reference point is a very, very important part. Okay? Because many times we will have to extend along the sail's edge to find the relevant points. You have different cases of 2 head points and tack points, and we will see a bit separately. Okay. For mainsail, the mainsail head point is the intersection of the luff, extended as necessary, and the line through the highest point of the sail at 90 degrees to the left. Okay? So here are the drawing set that you may find in the equipment hall of sailing manual. Okay? You also may have sails with very large headboards. Okay? And you shall be careful about where is the highest point of the sail. Okay? In such a case, sometimes and many times with large headboards, the highest point of the sail is the aft head point. Not this one, but the aft head point. So the head point measurement for the mainsail will be the perpendicular between the left, okay, and this line passing through the highest point of the sail. In the case of a mainsail, the definition of the head point do not speak about attachments. And when you look at the definition of a mainsail in the World Sailing Guide, you will find that the mainsail, this sail includes the attachment. Okay? And this is, for instance, an attachment. So in such a case, the highest point of the sail is not the sail close, but the upper point of the attachment. So the reference point we will use is the perpendicular of the left and
attachment.
Can you explain please how it's working with the gap cells?
Sorry?
Can you explain please how it works with the gap cells?
I can do this later. Okay? I will do it. Because for the gap cells, in fact, we use mainly measurement on plants, on designs. Because it's
Not
very, very
common
complicated.
with gap cells.
Sorry?
It's not very common to have a gap
No,
cell,
I know that.
but
Yeah.
it is good.
I will explain after, okay? I try to stay on the basic principle at the moment.
So
No, don't be sorry. So, this was a head point for the main cell, and you will see the difference now we have for the head point of the head cell. Okay? This is the main cell definition, and here I added the head point definition. Intersection of the left, extending as necessary, and the line at 90 degrees to the left, passing through the highest point of the sail, excluding attachment. This is not here, excluding attachment, okay? Which means, for instance, that here we have an attachment, okay? And this is excluded from the measurement. And we have reference point at the perpendicular of the highest point of sail and the left. Okay. Here again we have sail close. So the point is at the perpendicular of the highest point of the sail and the left. Second part of the definition sail, excluding attachment was the first part, and any left tape. Left tape is, for instance, here you have a left tape. The left tape is this part, okay, and the sail close is stopping here. This part will be excluded from the measurement, okay, and the good reference point will be there. And there are other drawings showing you that, okay. This black part is the left tape. In that case, no problem because the left tape is above is below the reference point. So we take the highest part of the sail, the 90-degree point with the left, excluding the attachment. And here we exclude the attachment, of course, and we exclude as well the left tape. Let's imagine that this sail, let's imagine that it is not, but let's imagine that this is the main sail. Okay? The head point is there. Okay? Left, the line at 90 degrees passing through the highest point of the sail. Because it is the main sail, this part, which is an attachment, is included in the measurement. In fact, this sail is not the main sail, this is the head sail. And we saw that when we measure a head sail, we exclude the attachment. So this part will not be part of the measurement. We saw as well that when we are measuring a head sail, we exclude the left tape. But where is the left tape here? In fact, here you have sail close. Okay? So in such a condition, the reference point is there. Okay? Because the sail close go to this extremity. So this is not here. Not here. And now imagine that this sail close is removed there. Okay? There are nothing more than those parts. Okay? So in such a case, no more problem. We will exclude the left leg because there are no more cycles here. And we will find the point at 90 degrees from the left to the highest point of the cycles. This was the various cases that we can meet for the head point. At clue and tag point, the definitions are the intersection of foot and leech for the clue point, and foot and left for the tag point. Okay? And for each case, extended as necessary. Okay? The extension is you extend the edge of the leech, edge of the foot, and you will find the clue point reference, which is not there, but the extension of the edges. And here you have different cases. Okay. Same at the tag point. You may have various cases, and each time you will have to look for the extension of the edge of the sail plus the foot. Now, depending on the shape of the sail, okay, maybe it may be a bit more difficult to proceed to the extensions. This rule, H54, which is a rule from EMS, not EMS, ERS, explain you how to extend to extend the curve when this is necessary. There is a local curvature and or an irregularity in the sail edge. For instance, here you have a tag point here, clue point here, and you see well that the curve of the sail is not regular. Okay? You will have to extend general curve of the sail like this. Okay? And the clue point, reference clue point, will be at the intersection of this extension and the leech extension. So here you see better. So you have the blue line here. I try to repeat the curvature of the sail. Okay? You may have this extension necessary at clue point, but you may also as well as an extension to make at tag point. Excuse me. What I wanted to show in this example is something happened when I was measuring the sail. Okay. When I consider the clue point here with the extension of the foot. Okay. The owner was not happy with that, of course, because it means a different measurement of the left perpendicular. So he decided to cut the sail. Okay? To cut the sail in order to have a regular curve from the back point to the head point. Now we saw the what we have to use as a head point, tack point, and screw point. Now we can see the measurements we need. Okay, for main sail, we need only 3 measurements: the half width, the 3/4 width, and the 7/8 width. The technique for measuring is for finding the points are as follows. So you have your main sail flattened on the floor. You take the head point and put it on the glue point. Okay? And here you will find the half reach point. Okay? When the half reach point is found, you take the head point and you put the head point on the half reach point. And you will find somewhere over there the 3/4 point. And when you have the 3/4 point, you put the head point on the 3/4 point, and you will find the upper point. Maybe difficult to understand with the drawing, but in practice you will see it's an easy thing. When we have put marks at the middle, 3/4, and upper point, we are going to measure MHW, MTW, and UW. Again, with the sail pattern on the floor. Okay. And we will find MHW with 0 of the tape here, and looking for the shortest distance, balancing the tape all along the left. And the same for the 3/4 and the upper width. But again, there is something more. It's not so simple. Because we will have to add the measurement of the hollows in sail reach. Okay? In this drawing, you see, exaggerated of course, but the shape of the leech. Okay? Here you have your middle point, and we said that MHW is the distance from that point, the shortest distance from that point to the left. Okay? But we will have to add the sail H hollow. Okay? When you have a measurement point between two battens, or measurement point between the batten and the after point, okay, you will add the measurement of the hollow. Okay? So here you put, for instance, the batten, and you measure the distance from that point to the batten. And you add this distance to the MHW measurement that you first made on the sail. If I come back to the previous, this is the world sailing rule. Okay. Where there is a sail leech hollow and the measurement points fall in the hollow between adjacent batten pocket. The word adjacent is very important. Or between the aft head point and an adjacent batten pocket, the higher part of the sail, or between the 2 point and an adjacent button pocket for the lowest part of the sail. Okay? We add this measurement, which is there, okay, to the one we measured directly on the sail. Again, in practice, this is something that you will understand very well for those who never practice in that. Okay. For the head sail measurement, we will need 5 measurements. Okay. The head sail left from the head point to the tack point, okay, the horizontal distance. The left perpendicular, which is from the blue point to the perpendicular at left, that you will find looking for the shortest distance, balancing your tail. And 3/4 and upper points here, here, and here. We will fix them exactly like we did for the main sail. Head point on clue point. We have the half point. Clue point on half point. You find the 3/4 point. And clue point on 3/4 point. Tack point to the 3/4 point. And we will find the upper point. After that, measurement is exactly the same procedure. The 0 of the tail measure here, and we are looking for the shortest distance all along the left. Okay? And as we did for the main sail, provided that the head sail is equipped with pattern, we will add the colors. Okay? Here we have patterns. The reference points fall into this part between 2 buttons. So if there is a polo here, we will have this distance plus the polo. Okay? If there's no buttons, you have no holos measures. Last measurement for the head sail is the foot offset. The foot offset is the maximum offset between the edge of a head sail, the edge of a head sail foot, and a straight line between tack point and clue point. This, you will fix a rope, for instance, for a straight line, and we will look for the longest measurement from the perpendicular to this line and the edge of the sail. Spinnaker measurement, whatever it is an asymmetric or a symmetric spinnaker, we will measure the half width, the foot length, the reach and the left length. Okay. Foot length is the horizontal distance between, let's say, the left and the clue and tack point. Okay. Half width is the distance from the middle of the reach and the middle of the left. To find those points, we will put the head point on clue point first, and after that the end point on tack point, and we have the second point. And we will measure between those 2 points, the half width. Yes. And for the left and the reach, we will not measure this curve, but we will extend the sail to have an an horizontal like this, and we will measure this horizontal distance. In 2021, IRC introduced a new type of sail, which is the flying head sail. Okay? In those drawings, you may see the three different types of sails that you will find above. You may find above the mast. The three different types of sails as defined by IRC. What makes the difference? The difference is the measurement of the foot of the sail and the measurement at the middle, measured as a spinnaker. Okay. If the half width is more or equal to 75% of the foot length, the sail is a spinnaker, and you have to measure SHW, SFL, SLE, and SLU, and that's it. The condition is very important, this one, okay? SHW more or equal to 75% of SFL. This new sail, defined sail, flying head sail, you find the definition here. And each part are very important. The sail set flying head sail is a sail set flying, touch down forward of the forestay, or forward of the forestay, first condition. Okay. The sail that does not meet the definition of the spinnaker, which means that if you measure the sail as a spinnaker, you will find SHW less than 75% of SFL. Okay. And the half width is between 75% of SFL and 75%. You measure the foot, you measure the half as if it was a spinnaker, even if you don't know, and you look. If you are between 75 and 72, you have a flying head sail. Okay. More than 75, spinnaker. Between 75 and 62.5, sorry, head sail. Less than 62.5, head sail. Okay? If you have a flying head sail to measure, first you measure those two ones to consider which kind of sail it is. And if you will mark that this is a flying head sail, you will measure the left perpendicular, the half width, 3/4 width, and upper width, as you do for a normal head sail. So for a flying head sail, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 measurements. Okay? Only the names are changing here from a sail to another. But this is the same type of measurement. Half width like a spinnaker, measured like a spinnaker, from the half reach point to the half luff point. The foot of the sail, like spinnaker. And if you are in this ratio, the luff perpendicular, half width, 3/4 width, and upper width. Okay? You may have a special case. You measure sail, and in terms of dimension, you have a flying head sail. Okay? But let's imagine that this sail has button. Okay? This is no more a flying head sail. It becomes a head sail. Imagine as well that in terms of dimension, the the sail seems to be a flying sail, but it is not tacked down forward of the forestail, but between the mast and the forestail. It is, for instance, the case for a spinnaker staysail. This is not a flying head sail, it is a head sail. Okay?
What about offset for flying head sail?
Offset, the foot offset, you will measure as well for the flying head sail. Exactly like for the head sail.
What's the principles for this ratios or
Percentages.
like 75? Between 5 flight.
The first percentage is this one, 75%. Why 75%? This is because this is how the spinnaker is defined by Irc Semi, by Irc, by all the handicap rules. That's why we fixed that at 75%. Okay. The 72.5% has been fixed by the IRC Technical Committee. And the intention is that a flying head sail with this percentage should not be used windward, but downwind. Okay. That's why those percentages are fixed. Okay for you? Yeah. Yeah. And this one could probably be diminished to 60% in the coming years. This is a subject for reflection of the IRC. Here you have the different name of the measurements, okay, for the flying head sail. And something I'd like to draw your attention in is the difference between the half width measurement. When you measure a sail like a spinnaker, you go from the half reach point to the half left point, sorry. And when you are measuring the half width on a head sail, you measure from the reach point to the shortest distance along the left, okay? Perpendicular to the left. Something more, when the flying head sail is used, okay, the minimum distance of the flying head sail tack point is calculated, and the formula is the STL FH max is this point here, okay? It is the FSFL, which is the foot measurement. Okay, FSFL here. FSFL less 25% of J. J, which you remember, is the distance from the mast to the forestail. The horizontal distance from the mast to the point where the forestail is the deck. And why this is fixed? Because using this formula and calculating this point, we are sure that the reach of the sail, of the flying head sail, will be after the spreaders. And that way, the sail is not used windward, or maybe used windward, but in very light areas.
Sorry for the English. And here you have the calculation of the area, flying Excel area that you may find in the IRC rule, like spinnaker area calculation and like Excel area calculation. So it may be a bit complicated if you are faced with such a sail, but read the definition carefully, all the little by little, step by step, and like this you will be able to consider which kind of sail you have. Okay? Okay, the problem I have here. It does not, this sail is not simple to consider everywhere. And my last slide is just showing an example of stickers for the sails. But I saw that here you have very good stickers for the sails. When you measure a sail, you have to put the sail number, your measure name, your measure ID mark, the type of sail, for instance, and then one for the XL, J1, J2 for the Genoa, flying XL, in the XL you have FH1, FH2, spinnaker, A01, A02, or S1 for symmetrical, things like that. That's the name that you may find on the sails sometimes. Okay. And the date and your signature. Okay. And here you have enough with 9 cells, 9 blocks like this, you have enough to use the same sticker for all the different types of cells you will have to measure the area. Currently, IRC is in discussion, IRC, ORC, and I'm in discussion with Irc Semi to try to establish a uniform stamp for all, uniform sticker for all the sails. The debates began 4 months ago, and I believe we will have no good answer and firm answer before the end of 2024, 2023. So, as Jan showed me the sticker you are using here, you are able to put all the information, required information in there. So, use it, there is no problem at all. Okay? So, you told me about the gas burner. Following measure P in such a case, okay. P. If you have this cell, the P measurement is from there to the boom. If you don't have this one, the P measurement is from there to the boom. And when you have a cutter rig, the forest tail that you will consider is the aftmost forest tail. And if you have different Genoas, you will measure the maximum left here, and the HLP go from the foremost forest tail to the, I would say, sternmost screw point. But this diagram doesn't show you how to measure the MHW, MT, and MW. And in fact, those measurements, we can do it on a sail plan, but doing those measurements in reality are quite complicated.
when you have a sail plan, you are able to fix the needle here, 3/4 upper point, and measure directly on the diagram. Okay? And here for you have different head sails. Okay? Here you have one. You have a second one. And here you have a third one. Okay? The left lane that you will consider is whisk sail. Okay. The left lane is the upper, from the upper head point to the cruise right here. Okay. And the HLP is from the aftmost left to the foremost 2 point here. The perpendicular from starting at the 2 point here, the foremost 2 point to the virtual left here, which is an extension of this stuff. Fortunately, this is very exceptional and you have not so much ropes to measure like this.
So we are measuring
On paper. On paper, yeah. This is better way to find something. This is the way we have the more approach to the reality. Using the paper.
It's an approach actually, really.
Sorry?
This is absolutely an approach in measurements.
Yes,
It's real.
yes.
Basically.
It's lucky there are not much
Oh, yes,
size
it's
of
very,
body
very
in the
good.
race course, but it's important to understand the basics of IRC measurements.
Mm-hmm.
So, very good set. Thank you very much for your
You're welcome.
work.
You're welcome.
Today we are not using for drum cups, but maybe in future we decided to use more techniques.
Yes, in France we have more and more classic boat interested in IRC. So we use this technique for the classics. But we do not provide a NOR certificate for the classics, only standard IRC certificates, because we can have a full measurement, accurate measurement using
This
this. If you have other questions, I'm happy to do my best for answering. Yes, sir.
I have a question about the sales, the table of sales. As far as I remember, there was a definition about the exotic sales, the exotic materials.
Yes.
Can you please explain what's the
You have different sail clothes, okay? You have Dacron sails, and you have many different sails with different fibers in there, carbon fibers or other materials. Probably the sail maker he will explain better than I the different type of sail clothes. And under IRC, you're right, you have a rule with talking about the exotic sail clothes. And just after this rule, you have another one stating that IRC does not take into account the sail clauses. So the sail clause is not whatever it is. It's not something that has an impact on the TCC calculation or on the way of measuring or something like that.
not just for RF,
Sorry.
RF, big factor?
Even for Ric factor, this is not an issue. Whatever is the sail clause,
So shall we declare or not?
no, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. The only thing that is important are measurements for the sail. The sail clause, whatever it is, you have no advantage or because you use carbon sail, or disadvantage because you use carbon sail or other type of sail clauses.
in Turkey, in the north, we have low density, south, we have high density. Generally, this affects them.
I can answer, we don't
Yeah,
take into
I
account
know,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
This question still doesn't have an answer to it. Sometimes this changes something from both of them.
Yes. But I ask you to the party to accept that.
Yeah, this is the collaboration.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, on other systems, when you make flotation measurement and so on, the trim of the boat and things like that, I think, of course, the density is taken into account.
So still there will be differences for the owner that if he thinks about to measure the boat in the south, will be different part of the north. Or if there will be rain, for example, we were talking about the weather conditions like the wind and the temperature. The temperature affects the equipment that we are using too, if it's metal, for example. But we are still not looking for the density.
No. As you said, IRC want to stay a club racing mode with a more simple measurement mode as possible. And considering the formula and the result we obtain, the result between the TCC we have and the small discrepancy we may have, considering, for instance, the density, it has no impact on the TCC.
Yeah.
And that's why we took the party to avoid the question of the density of the problem. You're right, in terms of accuracy, we are not right.
It's a general question from both of them. Also, sometimes we're explaining to them. That also is good to clear the IRC how it's working as a collaborative certificate system.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's good to put on the top when this question comes.
But, however, even if we don't take this density into account, as I explained to you, considering the IRC formula, which is applied when you create the TCC, small discrepancy you may have by using density or not will have no impact on the final TCC. Yeah. Other questions? I know that is all I said this morning are many information. We probably need to digest this, and maybe the questions will come later. And if the questions come, please do not hesitate to me, and it will be a pleasure for me to help you as much as I can. If you want, you can just have a look, quick look on my tools. I have a small part of what I use generally, but as I explained to you, the metal tape measurer with two Roman figures here. If you want to have a look, that's it. Mark II over there. See the two Roman figures. Level with a 45 double incline on the other side. This is a Flamin, Chacu. One of the only word I know. Chacu. And this is something my son bought for me. Board like this, and it's useful for me when we are looking for the hole between two battles. I put this point at the extreme end of the battle, and the other one on the other side. Okay? But you may use everything which is straight. It's fine. This is very useful as well for right angles. And with that, and floating battles, you're able to
you are able to do the job. Okay? Of course, kind of small tool like this may be useful as well with good drivers and knives and things like that. Permanent marker. This one very useful to fix points on black cell tissue. What I have else? Just when you are waiting the boat, take the more pictures as you can. Okay? You don't care if you think it's useful or not. Send me the more picture you can. Okay? And what is important at the interior is to see all the furniture, the table, the doors when they are positioned, the buckets, the tanks, batteries, things like that. The more detailed things you will do, the better it's going for us. Yes? Want some explanation? Let's look at it.
Fotoğrafını çekeceksiniz sanırım.
This is something new. I should talk to
Orada atın o zaman. Madem çektirsiniz.
Olayım, bir değil olmuş. Çok iyi. Alanın yakasında.
İspanyol.
Hemen.
Şimdi Duran'dan bir soru geldi. Bu sene başlayan kural kısıtlarla ve sekreterlik sertifikayla birinci sertifikayla ilgili. Şu ana kadar IRC Türkiye olarak 2 tane yaptık.
İstanbul'da.
Güzel bir İstanbul. Bunun nasıl çalışacağı hakkında bir soru geldi. Bir de onu açıklayacağız şimdi. Prime ve sekreterlik arasında bir farklı nerede kullanılır?
Before ending, I would like to come back on the secondary certificate. This year, IRC introduced the possibility for a boat to have two valid certificates at the same time. Before 23, an owner were able to have a certificate for full crew and a second one for short-handed crew, which means two or one person aboard only. And we decided this year, because the number of crew and the IRC weight has no impact on TCC, we decided that we will cancel the short-handed certificate and give the possibility to all boats to have two different certificates. That way, for instance, an owner may use a secondary certificate for short-handed racing, or he may use the first one, full crew, for inshore racing, I would say, windward leeward, and the second certificate for offshore races, like the Turkish Helicap, for instance. So it's just for us to give more possibility for an owner to configure his boat. Okay, and for instance, you may have a first certificate with a mainsail and a big headsail, plus 3 spinnaker, And in the second one, you may have the same main sail, but a smaller sail and 2 spinnakers. And you are not obliged to amend your certificate each time you need to tune your boat considering a new race. You may use a certificate with your configuration, for instance, for a series of inshore races from 1, 2, 3, 7 to 6 legs, or whatever, for a championship, for instance, with different legs. And during this championship, which is run from, I don't know, February to July, you may want to participate to an offshore race with another configuration. You don't need to amend your certificate. You just need to ask for a secondary certificate with another configuration. But there are some limitations. In this first article 821.8, you have all the dimensions and all the things that you may vary from the primary certificate to the secondary. And here, the things that you don't have to modify. The things that you don't have to modify are in relationship with boat weight, mainly. Okay? The secondary certificate boat weight and corresponding overruns shall only vary from the primary certificate for a change in internal ballast. Internal ballast are, for instance, bits of lead that you may put inside the boat to have a different trim. Okay, so this is the only thing that you may vary from the first configuration to a second one, considering the boat weight. For instance, if an owner say, I would like my primary certificate with the table and the 2 doors of the cabins, and the second one without this table and without the 2 doors, this is not permitted. Okay. The only way to tune the weight, I would say, are internal ballast. And this rule as well is very important. Owners shall declare the primary or secondary certificate to the rights organizer before the rating deadline. Because we want to avoid that owners who has 2 certificates choose at the last moment before the regatta which one he will use because of the weather condition or things like that. We ask the race organizer to fix rating deadlines at least 7 days before the start of the first race. And the owner shall give the certificate to the race organizer respecting this deadline. After it's too late.
But before 1 week, more.
1 week, yeah. At least 1 week. After that, the race organizer may impose a longer delay, but the minimum that we recommend is 7 days. 7 days before the start of the first race of the regatta. Okay?
Still some questions.
Okay.
We make the boat with spinnaker form.
Yes.
Including spinnaker form if they use symmetrical spinnaker.
Yes.
And they want to change, they want to have secondary certificate
With no spinnaker
without,
form.
with asymmetrical only, without spinnaker form. Should we wait? No.
No, you don't have.
So why we weight the boat with accuracy?
Considering the gross weight of the boat and the weight of the spinnaker pole, for instance, just consider that you may have maybe 5 kg difference and no impact on the final TCC.
So So there is
And also-
importance of course of there's no big importance of the accuracy when you rate both.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. For instance,
You
you
ignore the splinter pulse weight.
but spinnaker weight, if you take the gross weight of the ball, the spinnaker weight, the spinnaker pole weight is nothing. And we have no impact on the TCC. 5 kilos on, I would say, 3.5 IRC weight boat. 5 or 10 kilos of a spinnaker pole will have no impact on the TCC. But fundamentally, you are right. You are removing an item, so we should ask for this boat to be reweighted. But we do not want to create extra dependency, extra expenses for the owners, because we know that at the end, the result has no impact on TCC. And so that's why in the rule you see that here, you may vary the STL, SPL. Yeah. But fundamentally, you are right. We should ask for a remeasurement of the boat, a re-weighting of the boat. Yeah. I know very well that our system is not 100% accuracy. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Embarrassing, but good question.
Well, it's small boat, so they change the pitch of the boat. See, let's change the level, change the distance of the hits and the little hush for the attack point. But yeah, nothing else.
Other questions? Even an embarrassing one? No problem. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. Good luck for reading all those documents and getting all those informations. And if you have a problem, stand by me.
Thank you.